Hey folks, Brendan here, the interview hacker, and today I'm going to talk to you about joining the probation service as a probation officer. Now they've got an assessment centre which is, for some of you, you may look at it and think it's quite daunting, but actually when you break it down and hack the actual instructions that have been given to you, we can work out exactly what the questions are going to be in the interview, and then we can start working out exactly how we're going to answer them. So this is exactly what we mean by interview hacking. What we're doing is we're taking material that's already in the public domain. So the instructions on how to prepare for the probation service assessment centre are already in the public domain. So we're just going to utilise them, and hacking just means that we're going to take the guidance and we're going to take the competencies that they give you that you're going to be assessed against in the interview, and we're going to work backwards, and we're literally going to hack their instructions and hack the system to predict exactly what the questions are going to be. So what I'm going to do is I've put it on the whiteboard as well, thought I'd take you through it. You've got something visual there to look at. And in case any of you are thinking, doesn't this guy use PowerPoint? No, I don't actually. I'm not a big fan of PowerPoint. I love my whiteboard. Those of you know me from previous videos where I've helped to support thousands, literally several thousand police officers into their dream job, will know that I like to scribble on my whiteboard. So you can't scribble on a PowerPoint, can you? Anyway, here we go. Pin your ears back, folks. And in case you're thinking, oh, I'm not going to be a probation officer, this isn't for me. Yes, it is, because I want you to get good at hacking instructions. And the more you look at how you can hack the system, the more you'll become proficient at hacking your own job interview when you've got it ahead of you. No matter what it is, it doesn't matter what it is, we can hack it, we can work out what the questions are going to be, and then we can work out how to answer them. So the probation service talks about it's a blended interview. What's a blended interview? Well, it then goes to explain it. What it actually means is that you're going to have some competency questions. Now, these sort of questions are the ones where they ask you, can you tell me about a time when? And then you have to talk about a previous behaviour or value that you've demonstrated. And also, it's going to be strengths-based. So it tells you further down what they're going to ask there. So there's three competencies that you're going to get assessed against. I'll come to those in a moment. And each one of them has got two core parts. So if we just do the math, based on what is normally a standard of 4 to 5 minutes per answer, which is quite a lot of time to talk, but sufficient. It's completely sufficient for you to give a very detailed and structured answer. 40 minutes equates to 6 competency questions, which means that you're going to get asked 2 from each competency and 2 strengths-based questions. Now, they tell us in this what the questions are going to be. This is awesome. It really is. It's awesome. So it actually tells you behaviour-based questions will explore your past experience and achievements, what we just talked about. Strength-based questions will focus on what motivates and energises you. So for both questions, we want to give you examples and go into as much detail as possible, which means that you need to talk for about 4 or 5 minutes because they want detail from you, a structured, detailed approach. And in other videos, I'll talk about what that structured, detailed approach would be, and it is not STAR. We don't use STAR at the interview hacker. All right, so what else have we got that's a clue? Well, it tells you which behaviours you're going to get assessed against. There you go, 1, 2, 3. Managing a quality service, working together and delivering at pace. All right. Now it actually tells you that it's important for you to familiarise yourself with those assessed behaviours. If you don't, and you're not in a position to answer the questions, then they're going to fail you because they've given you an instruction here. They've said it's important actually, so you've got to do it. It also talks about no specific preparation is required for the strengths-based questions. That's a lie. You absolutely do need to prepare for this. Because it talks about you may find it helpful to consider why you'd like to become a trainee probation officer. That's the first question you're going to get asked. Why do you want to be a trainee probation officer? That's question number 1. Don't prepare for it. I would spend hours preparing for that to make sure I've got a really good story which I can deliver in a very authentic and emotional way, in a structured way that's absent of cliches. I've always wanted to be a probation officer so I can put something back into the community. I really like helping other people. No, don't use any of that because they'll have heard that so many times before and it tells them nothing about the real, authentic and emotional you. So there's your first question, folks. It then goes on to talk about how you might want to talk to your family and friends about the strengths they feel you have. because we're interested in what motivates, and actually it says energies you. Don't point it out. There you go. Energies you. I wouldn't get cocky and point out their spelling mistake. Actually, someone needs to do a copy check of what they're actually publishing, because what motivates and energies you, really? You know, if I took a closer look at the rest of the copy, I'd probably find some further errors. But hey, I'm not going to get picky, and don't point it out. Don't say, one of the things that really energizes me is attention to detail. And by the way, there's a spelling mistake on your website. No, don't do that. So what motivates and energizes you? Now, this, I think, will probably be the question. So tell me a little bit about John. Tell me a little bit about Susan. What motivates you in life? What excites you? And it doesn't have to be from your professional life. What is it that when you get up in the morning, you think, yes, today I'm going to be doing? All right, so that's the moment. Yes, it's that yes moment. Yes, today I'm going to be doing. Oh, I can't wait for tomorrow because I'm going to be doing X, Y, and Z. That's what motivates you. That's what energizes you. So, but at the same time, we're not going to say something like, all right, I love surfing. I love surfing. I love surfing. Surfing's amazing. Or for me, it'd be actually scuba diving. I love scuba diving. Tell them why you love it. What is it you get out of it? And if you can, hook it round to the role of being a probation officer. Tricky one, that, isn't it? Tricky one. If it was scuba diving, I'd probably say something like, you may think it's a solitary hobby, scuba diving, but can I share with you that it isn't? Because actually, there's a huge team effort that goes into scuba diving. And I'll talk about making sure that all your equipment's safe, and making sure that you're relying on the people who are filling the tanks, and who's going to launch the boat, and all of what needs to go into a scuba diving trip. I'll talk about that team effort and how what you really like is the opportunity to take on different roles. So what I did like about it actually was just going away with a group of people and making experiences happen. And that required teamwork. It required us to collaborate. It required planning and organising. You see, I've hooked it round. I've hooked it round now. And that's what really, I mean, honestly, that is what motivates and energises me. I wish I could go scuba, now I'm talking about it, I wish I could go scuba diving. Right, so hope you're with me so far. So we've hacked 2 of the questions. I've put up there Johari's window. This is a really good way of finding out the truth about what really motivates and energises you, because it talks about here about consider talking to family and friends about what strengths they feel you have. That's actually, it could be worded a different way. What energises you, what motivates you, or what strengths do you believe you have? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. But I want to know a little bit more about you, not just all the sort of competency type answers. Now, it may be the opportunity as well to talk about values. So if you're asked something about, you could get a supplementary question there, which is about strengths. So what strengths do you believe you have? And then it may move into what actually motivates you and excites you in life. So that could be a supplementary question. They've talked about both of those things twice now, twice. So there's every chance that that's going to crop up. But it talks about considering talking to family and friends. So there's an exercise I'll show you in a different video called Johari's window. And this is where we ask our friends and family and loved ones for absolute honest feedback on your strengths and your weaknesses. I hate the word weaknesses. I've got loads of them and I'm never going to change. People talk about, yes, you need to focus on your weaknesses. No, focus on your strengths. Focus on the things that you're great at and excel in those things, as opposed to trying to focus on the things that you're never going to be good at. I'll give you an example. Honestly, I am a slob. I just leave things lying around all over the place. And I used to wind myself up and think, I need to get a grip of this. I need to be more organised. I need to have more lists. But my brain doesn't think like that. I'm resigned to the fact now that I'm always going to be a slob. I never know where anything is. I've got no lists whatsoever of things I need to do. I always think, well, if it's not important enough for me to remember, I don't need to know about it. But some of you might be thinking, I'd be horrified working with you. Well, actually, I love super organised people and I need them around me, because super organised people help organise me. I had a sergeant years ago who was just amazing. Jill, she was absolutely superb, super organised. Oh my goodness. She wouldn't let me leave the office. She'd be like, boss, you're not going anywhere. Yeah, but Jill, I just need to go and do. No, you need to do X, Y, and Z first. All right, okay, I'll get that done. Now can I go? She was kind of managing me in some ways. But that's recognizing your strengths and recognizing those things you're not good at, and the things that you're not good at, what are you able to do to ensure that there's something in place to fill that gap, Focus on your strengths. These are your superpowers, and focus on them, develop them, so you're just awesome at the things that you're strong at. I go off at tangents, don't I? You should know this. Well, if you won't know this by now, but those of you who have been following Blue Light, you know I go off at tangents. Right, now here's the good stuff. So what are the questions going to be? Right, so managing a quality service is the first one. And I'll just show you there. That's what it is. Hopefully it'll focus, the camera will focus. You can press pause if you like to have a read of that. You might not be able to read my writing. See if I can read my writing. It talks about having a strong work ethic, going the extra mile to provide excellent customer service, representing the organisation in every interaction. You drive quality standards and adhere to rules and guidelines. That's the first part. Second part, you identify opportunities to improve ways of working. So they're not going to ask a blunt question, which is, can you tell me about a time when you've managed a quality service? That's not how it works. What I think they will ask you is, can you tell me about a time when you provided excellent customer service? Now, excellent customer service for me is when things go wrong and you've put them right, not when things are going well. That's just standard procedure. Things are going well, things are ticking over, we're offering a great customer service, everyone loves us. I think the best examples are where something's gone wrong. Something didn't go right and you put it right. Now, I'd also include in there checking organisational policy, taking responsibility for providing that service, and I'd include as many opportunities to talk about your interactions with other people and how you manage the angry person. Think about the role. Probation officer, you're going to be managing people who at times are angry and don't want to be with you. So think about what they're actually looking for. It's not about when things have gone right, it's when things have gone wrong. So think about that. Identify opportunities to improve ways of working. That will be translated into something along the lines of, can you tell me about a time when you've suggested a new way of working or a new way of doing things, or where you've suggested change? So it doesn't just have to be from your professional life, it could be something in your personal life, either in volunteering or a sports club that you belong to, or some other hobby organisation, doing something outside of the workplace. And I think it's important to provide a little bit of breadth here. So I wouldn't just be providing 6 answers from my workplace, from my professional life. I'd drop 1 or 2 answers in that show that there's something more about you than just work. And hopefully that makes sense. So there you go, there's 2 of the questions. This is interview hacking. This is what we do. Next, we've got working together. So let me show you working together. There you go, so at the bottom, working together. You could press pause or screenshot it, whatever you want. You build and maintain excellent working relationships with others and are a supportive team member. You collaborate with others and share knowledge and information both internally and with outside agencies. You might be thinking, I've never worked with outside agencies. Doesn't matter, they want to hear about how you've worked with other people. So the question will be something along the lines of, can you tell me about a time when you've collaborated with others to solve a problem or to manage a task? It's going to be as simple as that. But you want to be talking about, again, it's always good if something's gone wrong, the situation's gone pear-shaped, where you've had to give 120% without being asked to do so. And in your answer, I'll be talking about your relationships with other people. How you got other people to support you, how you delegated to other people, how you persuaded other people to get involved, and in particular, how things might have gone wrong or someone didn't buy into what you were doing and you had to build up a rapport with them to enable them to get on board, because that's maintaining excellent working relationships. Think about the role. You're going to be working with organisations like the police and the council and social service, mental health teams, drug and alcohol addiction teams. They are not always going to want to play ball with you. You are going to ask them to do things and they're not going to do them, or they're going to say, I disagree. I don't think that's the right way forwards. If I think about my previous life, we had probation services trying to keep them out of jail when they've been released on, not on bail, but they've been released with early release conditions, and you'd have the police trying to breach them all the time. That's not working in partnership. That's working against each other. So just like a minute, you know, your curfew, you've got to be in at 8 o'clock. The police are waiting at the door at 1 minute past 8, and you walk in at 2 minutes past 8 from outside. That's a breach of the curfew. Get arrested, get put back in front of the courts. Is there an opportunity for some leeway there, though, or is there an opportunity to find out why they were late? So as a probation officer, you'd want to work with them to find out what it is. It might have been that they went for a job interview and the job interview's overran. And they'll say that at court, and the courts will just look at the police and think, what the hell are you doing? So, and I used to be one, so there. But that's going to be the question. A time when you've collaborated with others to solve a problem or task. Involve people. Next part, you've highly developed conflict resolution skills. Oh, that's a good one, isn't it? Tell me about a time when you've intervened in a conflict situation. They don't want to hear about the time you split up a fight with two friends, or you were outside a pub and you stopped two people from arguing. A conflict situation, the best one, because this is about working relationships again, is where you are working with other people and there's some kind of conflict within the team. I don't mean physical conflict. I mean people disagreeing with each other, people not getting along with each other. And you're the one that mediates. You are the one that finds some middle ground. So what I'll be doing here, if I can draw it, I'm actually just going to scrub out some of these if I can. So what this is why I like the whiteboard, by the way. What this is two people, and that's what person A believes in, thinks is right, the right way forwards, and should use a different colour really, shouldn't I? So that's what person B believes in. And nothing's working because they both believe in completely different things. They both believe that they're right and the other person's wrong, and it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere at all. So what we want to do is get in between them. Where's my green pen? We want to get in between them. Right, want to get in between them so that we can talk to them both, bring them together, and try and mediate the problem. So that what we're doing, we're never going to have a situation where they're all in agreement with each other. That's not going to happen. That's not reality. So don't try and pretend that by the end of your mediation, the end of your time with each one of those parties, they both were in absolute agreement with each other. No, that's not reality, that. What you are going to get is something like this. This is what you're looking for, folks. You're looking for what I call the sweet spot. So you are helping them mediate. It may be over several conversations, maybe 2 different conversations before you can even get them to meet with each other. But you're finding a middle ground. That's your sweet spot there. You're finding something that they can both agree on. And once you've found something they both agree on, you can work on making those two circles at either side smaller and that one in the middle bigger. Is that making sense? And that's what I'd be talking about in terms of managing conflict. Hopefully that makes sense for you. That's why I use whiteboards. Right, so where are we up to? Where are we up to? Working together. All right, okay, last one. Delivering at pace. Delivering at pace. So there's the top one there. Delivering at pace. So my prediction, where they talk about you're focus-driven and self-motivated and show excellent planning and organisation skills. You're flexible and quickly adapt to new situations. This will translate into, can you tell me about a time when you've planned and organised a task for a situation you haven't dealt with before? All right, can you tell me about a time when you've planned and organised a task for a new situation or a situation or a problem that you've not dealt with before? Because it talks about new situations. It talks about planning and organisation. Focused, driven and self-motivated. Don't be thinking that you can just drop phrases like that into your answer and think you're going to get a mark. So you don't say in your action part of the SALQ, that's another video in itself, your structure that you can get away with saying. So in dealing with the rest of the team, I was very, very focused. At all times, I was driven towards the goal. And every day I kept having to motivate myself. No, it's just cliched nonsense. Do not think for one moment you can get away with that, because that won't score anything at all. No matter what the books out there say, trust me, it's not going to score anything at all. And lastly, here we go, the last one. You work effectively under pressure and show high levels of resilience in challenging situations. You're proactive and willing to step outside of your comfort zone. I love this one. I love this because this is the essence of what I talk about, that you should be giving answers about times when you've given 120% without being asked to do so. That is exactly what this one's talking about. Challenging yourself, taking on new experiences, taking on new responsibilities, all the time seeking to do something, and I'll talk about it another time, because what you're going to be doing is taking imperfect action. Imperfect action. Not perfect action, imperfect action. But that's subject of another video. I'll have to make a note of these, won't I? So Johari's window, imperfect action. Let's make sure we get them nailed. So this will translate into, can you tell me about a time when you've had to work under pressure to resolve a situation or to deal with a task? And in there, I'll talk about how you volunteered to do something new. How you volunteered to do something new. Not you were told to do something. Because if you were told to do something, that's not being proactive, is it? So you deliberately sought out a problem and then you went and dealt with it. So there you go, folks. Probation officer, hacked. Now there is another part of it, which is role plays, but this is about interview hacking. I'm tempted to do one for the role plays because that is something I'm awesome at, coaching people to manage role plays. So I may do some of those in the future. So watch out for that one, because there's quite a lot of organisations will put you through role plays. Even in virtual assessment centres, they'll put you through role plays. So interesting. Thank you, Probation Service, for providing all of that information. And I hope you've found it useful. Like I said, even if you're not going for the role of a probation officer, this is how we hack interviews. So there's nothing difficult about it. There's no wizardry or witchcraft, is there? It's quite simple. But then again, you might be thinking, it's not for me. Well, it's simple for me because I've been doing this for years. I went back, you know, not that it really matters that much, but I went back to university in the late 90s, early noughties to do a master's in education where I focused on personnel evaluation systems. So I geek out on stuff like this. This is my world. All right, folks, listen, I look forward to sharing some more of my knowledge and understanding and experience with you on a future date. Please do send me the job descriptions, send me what you've got ahead of you, and I will help you hack your interview, make sure that you're ready for it and that you're going to succeed. I'll catch you with you next time. Bye bye for now.